Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to basic wire wrapping skills number 4. And in this short video I'm going to show you how to wrap that really awkward stone you found down the beach, or that crystal a friend has just bought in Glastonbury High Street and has brought round your house expecting you to do something with. I'm going to show you how to wrap it with one piece of wire. Very simple idea. It's a great way of building your stock up. You got a show coming up, you want to sell a load of stuff, and you got a load of stones you just want to get rid of. This is a great way to wrap them, all within 5 minutes. Right, let me show you examples of what I'm talking about. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Well, here's a few examples of what I'm talking about. So the idea behind this wrap is that you've got that stone. As you can see, this is a piece of fossilized wood. It's something I would never dream of wrapping in my usual style. It's got too many sharp edges. And they're quite, they could break quite easy. Just wouldn't choose it when I was when I'm out shopping. But often, like I say, someone comes to you with a stone like this and you need to do something with it. And this is a perfect way of doing it. One piece of wire. So the idea behind this is the wire starts at the base of the stone, comes around the back round to the front, then back round to the back, and then a very rudimentary bell at the top there, which is quite a simple bell. But the bell is kind of there it kind of helps hold it into place. But this kind of wrap definitely appeals towards the larger scale wires. I'm going to be showing you the example with 16 gauge, which is 1.25 mil, I do believe. Yeah, you need that thicker gauge wire because obviously it can easily come apart at the top here. But as you can see, it's perfect for random crystal. It works really well on shards. You find with shards, I find you sometimes might have to go around a couple of times because they're much smoother down the sides. So it's basically a glorified cage. That's what you're making. It's a cage on the go. And it works totally fine on cabochons as well, especially those odd shaped cabochons. As you can see here, it really does suit a stone that's got a point and gets wider to the top. But there you go. You can see it works really well on a cabochon. Again, just a rudimentary bell. Around the back, to the front, and up to the bell. There we go. And so for this demo, I'm going to use this bit of moldavite. I'm meaning to do something with this, but again, this is a stone I just wouldn't wrap. It's been in my collection for a long time. That's why, because it just doesn't suit what I do. It's very jagged down the sides, not particularly even. So, but this stone will benefit from this style. Right, let me show you what to do. Before we get started, let me quickly talk about what tools we're going to use today. We're going to need a pair of chain nose, flat nose, pair of flush cutters, pair of bell pliers. These bell pliers are 6mm and 4mm in size. Chasing hammer, a block obviously to hammer against. If you have a rubber hammer, it will come in handy. And obviously a good metal ruler. Right, let's cut some wire to get started. But how much wire do I need for this? So it's kind of a bit of a guesswork. You're going to have to, bit of experience, look at your stone and just kind of guess. Now, for this stone, at a guess, I'm going to say 20 centimeters at the most. So let's cut 20 centimeters. Let's get you out of the way. Straighten my wire up before I cut. Excellent. And to start off with, we need to make our spiral. Right, to start my spiral, make sure I'm flush cut at one end, like so, and then taking my chain nose pliers, I'm grabbing the tip of the wire with the tip of my pliers and I'm bending around about halfway, as tight as I possibly can. That's about right. There we go. See, I've not gone all the way, only halfway. I'm then going to take my flat nose and I'm going to close that gap up. Like so. There we go. Got a nice, closed it up, nice and tight there. There we go. You can see that flashing in the light. Cool. So I'm going to start making my spiral. A good tip here is when making spirals, don't hold with the tip of your pliers because it will move a lot easier. As you can see, I'm holding quite tight and you'll start scratching your wire up. The best place to hold your wire, especially the heavy gauge wires, would be at the base of your flat nose pliers, like so. Grip it tight, and then I push with thumb and turn with the pliers at the same time. There we go. Now we start going round. Now I like to stylize my spirals a little bit here. I like to leave a bit of a gap. You can see where that's flattening out a little bit there, where I'm gripping a bit hard. It doesn't matter too much. We are going to hammer this spiral, so I'm not too worried if I do get some tool marks. We're going to keep turning. There we go. As you can see, if I grip the gap in the spiral there, that helps keep that gap. And this becomes a nice bit of negative space within the spiral, and it often makes a nice pattern, like a teardrop shape. So I'm often looking for that when making my spiral. So I'm going to bring this around. I'm going to start closing this up now. I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Cool. I'm just going to get a little bit more turn. That's good. I'm going to take my stone. I'm going to, which way round do I want to have my stone this time? So yeah, let's go round. I like that. Let's hold the spiral on the front of the stone and decide if it's big enough. I actually think we can go a little bit bigger. And would I have it that way round, or would I have it that way round? Let's make the spiral a little bit bigger. Not much. Not bad. I'm happy with that. Pretty happy with that. I think I'd go with that way round. Let's give it one more turn. That's quite a nice size. There we go. That's not too bad. It's not dominating too much at the front. That's good. I like that. I'm going to go with that. So let's hammer this spiral. So taking our block. And then getting our chasing hammer. I'm going to start hammering the spiral. So I'm going to try and get most of the outer edge, try and spread it a little bit. And the point of doing this is to get it to catch the light a little bit, and obviously take out some tool marks that are there. Now I'm pretty happy with that. It's not looking too bad. That's catching the light. Yeah, that's catching the light nicely. Quite like that. Just a little bit more in that corner there. As you can see, I'm not hitting it too hard. Right, I'm happy with that. Let's see how that looks on the stone. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. Pretty pleased with that. I like that. Right, let's start wrapping this wire around the stone. So before I move forwards, I need to have a look around the stone. You're looking for things like this. You're looking for little gaps. Something you can bring the wire through to help it hold into place. I've noticed there's one down here as well. I'm going to bring the wire down through that, round the back, through here, straight across. Maybe there's a little shoulder there, maybe across there, and then we'll come up the front. Okay, so let's take this on. So also think about which way your spiral is going to go around. I like it like that. It could work like that. I prefer it like that. So let's start wrapping. So I'm going to hold the spiral tight with my finger. There we go. Bring it into that shoulder and across the front of the stone. Oh, careful now. Now we'll be careful with stones that are a little bit. You can scratch them and crack them. There you go. I'm pretty happy with that. And then again, where do I have a look? It's about aesthetics now. I actually prefer that to come up a bit higher. There we go. Bring it down the side there and flat across the back. And then, judging by eye, you want to turn the wire perpendicular to the stone. About there. Is it about there? Yeah, about there. Excellent. I'm happy with that. That's pretty cool. Now, it's still a little bit loose. I need to make the bell, roll it down to the top of the stone, and that will hold everything into place. But I'm pretty happy with that. That looks quite good. Right then, let's make the bell. So before we move on to making the bell, it's the age-old question. How much wire do I need to make the bell? And there's an easy way of working this out. So cut yourself or find a spare bit of wire, preferably the same size that you're using on your wrap. But it doesn't matter if it's a little bit thinner. I'm just going to cut myself off 6 centimeters. That's enough. Random piece. Then taking your bell pliers. Now, I've chosen to use the slightly larger bells as the 6mm size. That seems to fit it well. I quite like the idea of that one. So taking your random spare piece of wire and your bell pliers, roll down till you create a letter P. Now normally if this was going to be an eye loop, you would kink that there so it sits on top of the wire like a lollipop, but because it's not an eye loop and just the nature of the way it holds the wire down, holds the stone in place, yeah, anyway, I'm rambling about eye loops. Really, it doesn't matter. Make a letter P, cut it there. There we go. You can see where I've cut it a little bit of next, roughly in line with where it would roll down, because that would be the top of the stone there. Cool. Now taking your pliers, straighten it out. Get your ruler and measure it. There we go. Now I know I need 24mm of wire to create a single loop around this bell. But if I go to an example here, you can see where we've wrapped around twice. So we're going to need twice the amount of wire. So 24mm times 2, 48mm. Nearly 5 centimeters basically. So let's cut our wire to 5 centimeters. So this is where a good metal ruler comes in handy. So obviously the measurements start from the beginning. Measure from the top of the stone down. I'm going to cut the 5 centimeters. There we go. Extra couple of mil will be okay. Now we need to hammer this into shape. Right, taking your hammer. Ooh, so you need to get that bale in. It's nearly coming out there. Typical, trying to do a demonstration and things go wrong. Now we're going to start hammering this wire along here. Now we want it wider at this end and we want it tapering down to the same size wire that end. So I recommend start hammering here, and as you move along the wire, hit it a bit harder. Remember to turn it over. You can see it started to bend a little bit. This is where your rubber stroke nylon hammer will come in handy, because you can just turn it onto the side and just gently get it shaped back. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that now. That's nearly looking like it's twice the size from that end. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty straight. Let's just get the sides a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's make the bell. Right, taking our bell pliers, gripping the tip, and now we start rolling down towards the stone. Just go gentle, take your time, and try and get it all central as well as you're doing it. There we go, that's not looking too bad. As you get towards the stone, roll it in so it now tightens up the stone. Tightens everything up into place. There we go. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. All that feels like, you see, stone nicely in place, not going to move. Just going to strengthen that up a little bit. And it's not the greatest bell. There's a little kink there. If I'm going to be critical about things, and you should be critical about your jewellery. It's how you improve. But from the front, I'm pretty happy with that. And that's ready for patinaing, polishing, whatever. But there you can see how easy that is, really. It's just one piece of wire, spiral at the bottom, start from the bottom, work your way around the stone, take advantage of the contour of the stone and all the little nooks and crannies and shoulders. Come around the front, work your way to the top. Rudimentary bell. Very basic, very simple. But there you go. I even think it's got a name. I think it's called a silk wrap. Cool. There you go. A simple way of wrapping a stone with just one piece of wire. Brilliant. Nice one. Anyway, thank you for joining me in this video. Please send me pictures and please tag me and show me your silk wraps. Love to see what you're doing. Love to see what type of stones you wrap with it as well, because this is about wrapping that awkward stone. And yeah, not the usual cabochons we all like working with. Nice one. Brilliant. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you everyone for watching. To support this channel and help me keep making more videos, please come on over and join my Patreon, where you will get access to all my videos early, free downloads of my books and tutorials, entries into my giveaways, plus more. Thank you. Bye-bye.